Just going to do a little thread on what I purchased at the thrift shop a few minutes ago. This should be fun. Gold leaf. I'm not sure how much is in here, but looks like a fair bit. Oh, and it was $5. So I figured, that's going to be fun. I don't know if it means here, what does it say? It says 50 grams? That's it's going to be a lot of gold if there's 50 grams in there. I don't think so, but if anyone's interested, we can try to figure out how to weigh it later. There's other things in here that I grabbed because it was half off accessories day. So we got some freshwater pearls right here. If you're ever looking at some pearls and you pick them up, one of the first things you want to feel for is, are they cold? That will tell you you've got some real pearls, possibly. And then in this case, these are all freshwater pearls that, as you can see, they're sort of lumpy and different and misshapen. And they're pretty, but they're not especially valuable. However, they are real, which is one of the cool things about these. Is sometimes it can be nice to actually have something that's real, even if it's of a lesser grade, as a reference. So this next string that I have here, now, mind you, I only paid $1 for each of these necklaces, so... but this next string is also real, and if you could actually be in this room and feel it, you'd feel very much like those other ones there. However, this is a nicer set, definitely. They're small, but you can see that they're not all the same size, and they're not all perfectly round. So when this was put together, it was a lesser grade of necklace, lesser grade of pearl necklace. However, it's still quite nice, and I think my daughter's going to enjoy it. And we will see if we can find something there, because I believe I'm going to grab this magnifier right here and see if we can show what I believe to be a marking on there. Yeah, all right, so I'm going to put this up here. We're going to go up there and look at that. 14 karat. Maybe that's not going to work. We'll see. But there is a 14 karat mark on there. So one of the ways that you can tell that a set of pearls is a little bit nicer than the average set is if the clasp is 14 karat. And if you ever find one of these clasps, this is actually how it opens. You just press on that, pull it, and then this loop comes out. And then it loops back through right there. And then presses in and clicks in place. All right, what else we got in here? We've got a leaf that might or might not be silver. We'll check that one out later at the magic machine. We also have a bracelet, which might or might not be silver. There are no markings on it that I can find. But it's got a certain look. So we'll find out about that one later. If anyone's interested, I can do a follow-up video. I grabbed this because it is... not something we're going to be able to see here probably on the camera. Well, maybe. Let's try a different way. There we go. Look at that. You can actually see that marking. Gold fill, 1/20th. So this is gold fill. We'll talk about gold fill in some of our videos. Gold fill is actually a layer of karat gold that is covering brass. So generally when you have a gold fill object, what it's telling you, in this case, I think it's telling us 1/20th 12 karat, is that there's a layer of 12 karat gold, then a layer of brass, then a layer of 12 karat gold. And then that's what's worked with. So all of the surface you see is actually 12 karat gold, even though the inside is brass. It's significantly thicker than plating. Plating is like microns thin. If something is plated with gold, it's not gold at all, really. And that plating will wear off in a flash with normal use. However, gold fill is actual karat gold, and it's thick. 1/20th of the metal content in this is 12 karat gold. So they were rated, and generally they were rated in that 1/10th and 1/20th. And sometimes you'll see a gold fill piece that says warranted 10 years. And that would indicate that it's like, I believe, a 1/20th gold fill. And warranted 20 years is 1/10th gold fill generally. But the idea was that they could say, if you use this every day for 10 years, you won't wear through the gold. And that was the warranty effectively on this type of material. But this does have value, and I am currently stockpiling this. You could say I'm stacking gold fill for an eventual refinement. Got a couple other things. Now, it was half off day, so this was only $5. And we'll maybe crack this one open in another video, but this is a whole bunch of studs. I enjoy these because oftentimes the backings or the studs themselves are gold. When you're digging around at a thrift shop and you see something like this, and it's only $5, like this one was, it's probably going to be at least $5 worth of silver. And if you find a couple pieces of gold in there, it's definitely more than $5 worth of gold. The little backings are often gold, and you'll find those on random pieces of jewelry. In fact, those little backings being something that's just kind of get swapped around, and people won't really think that, hey, this is a 14 karat gold backing. I'm going to put it on my trash earring that my daughter has from Claire's. You always want to have a look for that. And I'll probably do another video on how I sort this so that you can see how to quickly sort through this and determine what is gold and silver and what is not. But this right here, this is my prize. This is what I very much enjoy. And again, it was half off day, so this was $5. If I zoom in here, you can see it is a little bag full of pins. And you and I get to go through and see what is what in this bag. So let's just open her up, dump it out, and see what we got. Now, I find that one of the best things about these pins is, frequently you'll find gold in here. Gold fill, certainly, but also karat gold. A lot of these are made out of karat gold. And some of them are like these old ones, like this one here. You can see where it comes from. And sometimes the little card will have information on it. Screwbacks are a good indication that it's a pin that someone cared about and didn't care to lose. Obviously, that's a little different than the backs that you just pin right on, because, I mean, you're definitely not going to lose that once you've got that screwed on. Let's have a look at the back here and see what we got. Now this, I don't believe, if I zoom in here, is going to be gold. That looks more like brass. And hopefully we'll find one in here that is gold, so I can show you sort of what I mean by the difference between gold and brass. Now, oftentimes they're marked. You know, they'll say, hey, this is 10 karat gold. But sometimes they're not. And those are the ones that can be a little bit more of a trick to identify. And I can go through, and if anyone's interested, I can make more videos on how you would go through and identify such things. Some of these pins are obviously just, you know, more or less trash. Yellow knife, whatever this might be. We look at it, you can see this back is glued on. There's no real value to that. And if we deploy one of the most valuable tools that you can possibly have if you are looking for precious metals and jewelry, our magnet. This happens to be some random neodymium magnets that I found on the backer for a name badge. I don't know if you've ever seen where a name badge has like this backer on it. And I find that this works perfectly on my little, I got a little proto screwdriver, and I just do that with it. And that rides around in my pocket at all times. You can see most of the time, one of the ways you can tell if something is not gold. Now, if it's copper or brass, this also won't happen, but you can look at something and go, hey, this sticks. And see there? So that's not going to be anything. That is definitely not any kind of precious metal. If it were gold, it wouldn't do that. So you can quickly go, hey, this is kind of a nice little Mercedes thing. Does it react? Oh, it doesn't react. Should we look a little closer at it? It's a little Mercedes stick pin. Let's see. Sometimes you'll have markings that'll be on the stick pin. Sometimes they'll be on the back. Sometimes there will just be no markings at all. This particular one appears not to have any kind of marking. Now the question is, when it doesn't have any kind of marking, is it still gold? And this particular piece, if we look at it close, could be gold. Now, people will say that gold doesn't tarnish, and that's true for like 24 karat gold. But I'll tell you, a lot of that old 10 karat gold, which is only 40% gold, does in fact tarnish. So even though you see a little tarnish there and we see a little toning, I would suspect that this is actually silver. But you know, it could be 10 karat. It could be kind of a crappy 10 karat that's been around for a long time. Now, I don't know anything about this kind of Mercedes stick pin. And since it doesn't react to the magnet at all, I believe, we'll double check. No reaction. That's something that we will go check out with our magic machine, the XRF machine down at the local pawn shop. They can throw it on there and it'll tell us, is that special or is it not? What is it made out of? So as we go through here, let's have a look at, this looks pretty good. This, I believe, is a shirt stud. So this is when you didn't necessarily have buttons. But look at that right there. It tells us something. Gold filled 14 karat. So that is a very good example of a nice piece of gold filled jewelry, or in this case, menswear jewelry. Now, this particular piece will definitely go into my gold fill stash. And normally when you got something this old, you can see where some of the fill has worn through, but man, this is a high condition piece, so that's not going to help us out for learning about gold fill. All right, what else we got down in here? One thing you can always look for is, you know, the subject matter. This is a Boy Scout pin. And if we look on the back, you can see the patents and Boy Scouts of America. You can see sort of the build quality is not super duper. This is just going to end up being brass, maybe at best gold plated. Very, very little of the Boy Scout gear actually is gold. Very much like the Lions. Occasionally something that's Lions will be gold, but it's pretty much all at best gold fill. Okay, here we have another one of those little shirt studs. This one is kind of cool because it's this piece right here looks to be maybe mother of pearl, which isn't showing up very well on my camera. And I would wager the rest of this is gold fill. I don't see anything indicating anything other than gold fill. Oh, you know what this is? This is not a shirt stud. This is a very old-fashioned cufflink. See that right there? Goes through French cuff, and there's your cufflink. So you always want to check for markings on such things. Sometimes these are actually solid gold. In this case, I'm thinking this one's probably going to be fill. We'll add this. I have a kind of a mystery bin of gold, and that's what this one's going to go into. All right, shall we continue? Oh, that is a good example of subject matter telling you this is probably not gold. People who make meat, their 75th anniversary, even though it has the screw back, if we unscrew it here, you can see how it's shiny, yes, because it's probably gold plated, but I don't know if you can see that sort of rough texture. That rough texture generally indicates that it's plated. And you can usually tell plate when you're looking at something by looking at what the surface was before it was plated, if that makes any kind of sense. Also, this could be, no, it's not. It's probably just brass with maybe a little bit of gold on it. Shall we continue? That looks like a Freemason pin, but it's modern. And I don't think it's actually made out of anything. It's a little too shiny. And again, we have that really kind of rough texture. And we can see who made it, Bastion. But that is, again, going to be nothing. All right, shall we continue? Oh, we got another one of our gold fill pieces. And then we have more cufflinks here. Look at these. All right, these are kind of interesting. Now, sadly, that one is mangled. And that is pretty hard. So let's have a quick look and see if we can find any kind of marking on this. Generally, these pieces are gold fill. However, sometimes they are karat gold. And we'll look for clues on it. And one thing you can see here is that the front is pretty nice and shiny. In fact, we'll look at both of them at the same time. But the back is a little more dull. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is isn't karat gold, but oftentimes when things are karat gold, they will be very obviously gold on the front and back. This particular set, I don't see. Oh, wait. There we go. We have some kind of marking. Let's see if we can read it here. What does that say? Does that say anything? You're probably screaming at the screen right now because you can read it. I am trying to do it through the camera here, and I don't really have a good angle at that. I'm going to grab my magnifying glass, take it off screen for a second. It seems to say ONK1, 1KKO. Yeah, I don't know what that means. So what we will do with these is, try to get them, there we go. We will take this pair of boogered up cufflinks and we will bring those down to the pawn shop so they will go along with our probably silver Mercedes stick pin. All right, what else we got here? This is often called a ruptured duck because the eagle looks like a ruptured duck, I guess. And sometimes these are silver. I've never seen one that's gold. I'm not sure if they made them out of gold, but these are something that are given to servicemen or were given to servicemen. And if you are honorably discharged, you get your ruptured duck. They come in a variety of quality. Many of them are actually silver. This one, though, I think is just going to be brass. Let's see here. What do we got there? Do we have a pair of these little suckers? Let's see. Looks like just the one. So sometimes that will happen for you. You just have just the one. Again, we're looking at cufflinks. And again, we're going to be looking for any kind of marking. See if we can see anything. I don't see anything. Now, we'll throw this in the machine. These are sometimes gold fill, or very frequently gold fill. And this particular one I suspect probably is. You can see how it's dirty, which definitely gives it some age. And then it's still shiny. It's not tarnished. So I would suspect when we throw this on the magic machine, what we're going to get is we're going to get them saying that it's gold. And then we can figure out, is it gold fill? Or it may be, as you can see this little edge right here, it may be what's called rolled gold, where the underneath piece isn't gold, but the whole face is a piece of gold that's rolled around the edge. But we'll go ahead and check on that one. What else we got here? We've got something very similar. Now this one, though, you can see we have some corrosion. The question is it corrosion? It might just be dirt. Let's look at the back here. You can see we definitely have corrosion on the back. Let's see if we've got any kind of marking. We have the manufacturer, looks like FP Co. Do we have anything on the other side? Doesn't look like it. Anything on the back? Now, this could also be rolled gold. The surface looks pretty good aside from being dirty, but we're not really looking at a lot of tarnish. But you can definitely see that tarnish on the back, which would indicate to me that at best this is rolled gold, which has value, certainly. It goes into my mystery gold bin for refinement eventually. But we'll throw that on the magic machine and find out. Looks like I might have to do a magic machine update. Now we've got one of my more enjoyable targets. We've got some Freemason cufflinks, and these are old Freemason cufflinks. Do we have markings? We do. Looks like it says Talon Grip. Must be the trademark. Must be the type that these are. And then we also have, looks like another mark there. What does that say? Bring it closer to the camera here. Oh. I'm going to use my little magnifying glass off camera here. Flip that up so you have something to look at while I'm checking this out. it says HWK Co. Seems to be who made these. Now, there's a couple things about these that I want to mention. First off, again, we could be looking at gold fill. Probably are, given how shiny they are. But also, this little Freemason symbol, sometimes those are gold. This one looks a little brassy. Give it a little. This one looks like it's probably brass, but sometimes these will be gold. So you'll have a piece that isn't gold, it'll be brass, but it has a little bit of gold on it. And gold is so valuable, it can be worthwhile to pry that little bit of gold off and send it off to a refiner. But these will also go into our, let's go check it out on the Magic Machine bin. Okay, what other fun things do we have in here? Looks like we have another set. Ooh, okay. This set is excellent for illustration because you can see right off the bat, there's a lot of corrosion on the surface there. These are definitely going to be a little lower grade, and they are definitely going to be brass if we throw those in the machine. They may have had gold plate on at one time, but they're an excellent example of what to look for with this old stuff, because you can see all the way around the edge here, that brassy color showing up. Even if there's a little bit of gold plate left, you can see that. And when you're looking at old jewelry that looks dang good, what you want to do is get your loop out and look for that brassy color. Now, that brassy color can go away if you polish the heck out of it. I don't know if I can do it with my thumb here. You see how it starts looking nicer and nicer and nicer and nicer and nicer? If I actually used proper polish, you can get that looking like it's rose gold. So if somebody's been cleaning and polishing the jewelry, it could potentially fool you, but this is the key thing to look for when you're looking for old gold fill or gold plate, and you're looking for something that's actually solid. You're not going to get that color on anything that's solid gold. Okay, that Great Falls, Montana. That is definitely a new pin that is nothing. What else we got here? Let's flip all these up and have a look. Shall we look at this one next? Now, this little piece right here is extremely promising. At a glance, it looks like gold, and there's a couple things to note about this. This looks like it's probably like a fraternity or a sorority pin. And then there's lacquer on it, and then it's also multiple pieces put together. You can see that this top piece was added to the bottom piece. Let's flip her over and see what we can find. These are often gold fill or a mix. So what might happen is that the back may be gold fill, but the front is actually, that top piece that was added is actually solid. So these can have a very good yield sometimes for refiners. All right, I'm going to see if I can show this a little bit better. Okay. That is not working, is it? Maybe. Maybe we got it. Okay, there we go. You can see basically nothing, and I apologize for that. I'm definitely going to have to work out a better system for magnification here. What I can tell you is that what you couldn't read there is that this is 1/10 10K gold fill. So that's what that little marking on the back said. Now, that doesn't mean that this top piece isn't karat gold, but the rest of it is gold fill. And this I will usually put into, I have a little bag full of like mixed metals for refinement, stuff that I expect it will have a higher yield when it's refined. Because if this top piece is karat gold, then more than 1/10 of the gold content in this will be 10 karat. These things can also be quite a fooler to the Magic Machine, the XRF machine, because the gold is so thick that it can register as actually being solid. And that's why with some of these pieces, you'll see like a little nick where someone tested it. And if you have testing acid, you can actually nick one of these pieces and then put the testing acid on and see the brass react. And I'll see if anyone's interested. I'll buy some testing acid, and we'll see if we can't do that on camera. Okay, so that goes into our lovely gold fill pile. Let's have a look at this piece right here. Now this one looks to be, what do we got here? that is a Viking ship. And it says SN. This kind of thing I find extremely interesting. I would guess, knowing what I know about fraternal organizations, that this is a Sons of Norway pin. Interestingly, the first Sons of Norway pin I've found. I'll pull off the back. You can see this is definitely brass, this back. There's no doubt about that being brass. And I'm guessing the whole pin is brass too, but with some gold in the front. Yeah, we're looking at a brass pin here. However, this is a brass pin of an organization that's is somewhat near and dear to my heart. I don't know if we actually have a chapter of Sons of Norway out here, but my genetics are about 3/4 Norwegian, so this is cool for me. I really am excited to have gotten that. We'll set that one aside. We have a couple American Legion pins here. Let's move this so that you can see what's left. These can sometimes be gold. Usually they're not. Sometimes they're gold fill. But again, you can just look real quick and see here, and we've got words, but they're not. They're not gold fill. So that I will drop off at my local American Legion, so they don't have to buy another pin. They do great work, and there's no sense in them spending money on pins when they can reuse old ones that I drop off for them. This one is the same thing. But man, that's kind of an old pin. Patent 1919? Dang, that's cool. They've been around a little while. So someone down at the Legion is going to get a 1919 pin, looks like. All right, now we got a couple more interesting things. Now, remember earlier on we had that Amor, this one. Where is it? There it is. 75th anniversary. Here's another pin. So somebody clearly worked delivering meat. So now, these pins are interesting because depending on how old they are, many of them are gold fill, but also I found quite a few of these things that are actually solid gold. 5 years, probably not going to be solid gold, but maybe fill. Let's flip it over and find out. What do we got? Oh, we've got sterling. Well, that's cool. So that might not be gold fill, but it is sterling silver. So that definitely is our only, for sure, sterling piece. That goes into our sterling pile. Okay, now we have just a couple, and I'm saving the best for last. This one right here is 32nd degree Freemason. And you can see here, it's quite dainty and quite well made. And it is shiny. See how shiny that back is? See how nice that looks? And then if we flip it over, see how nice that is? That's gold. So when you're digging through these things, that's the kind of thing you want to grab, because it might just be a little dot of gold. I mean, this thing might be a 1/4 gram of gold, but hey, a 1/4 gram of even 10 karat gold is, what is it? It's 86. You know, if I could do I do a little bit of math, it's 10 karat gold's 40% gold, and it's like 86 a gram. So you're still looking at, if it's like 14, or maybe if it's big enough, these things are still like $10 worth of gold if you melt them down. Plus, people like to collect these things. So this particular one is interesting also in that this piece might be gold. I don't know if I've ever seen the backer look quite that good. Oh, I lost it. But this backer definitely looks nice. So we'll see. We'll throw those two pieces on the magic machine. We'll find out. Again, if anyone's interested, just leave a comment and I can do a follow-up video as to what the results are. But I'm going to put that one in my magic machine pile. Now, like I said, best for last. These are probably my favorite thing to try to find because, again, these are very frequently made out of gold. This, as you can see, looks like it's got a couple diamonds in there. And looks like you've got your chapter of whatever this fraternity or sorority was. And then this little, looks like a torch maybe? Let's put it in our hand and have a closer look. Yeah, it's a little torch. Now, again, when we're looking at these and judging these, see how nice and shiny that is? See how nice and shiny that back is? these two little pieces are probably going to be karat gold. Usually they're 10 karat, sometimes they're 14. So oftentimes what happens is that the chain will be gold, and then these little pieces will be gold. And then the other fun thing for me is looking up, what's going on here, because this little piece and this little piece both mean something, and it's a fun thing to research. Now, if we look at the actual piece itself, you can see we've got a couple little diamonds here, and those are usually end up being real diamonds. Diamonds that size are not really that expensive, but let's flip her over and see what kind of markings we have. All right, so let's open it up. Flip this open. And what can we see? Well, looky there. Do you see that little marking right there? 10 karat. So we have a 10 karat gold piece. Then we also have the initials of who this was. It looks like we have MJL. Not sure who MJL was. Might be able to find it, might not. It's definitely something entertaining to look for. But yeah, there we go. Out of our little $5 bag, we got this piece of gold for sure, because it's marked, and this piece of gold for sure, because it's gold. And when you've been doing this for a while, you'll see what I mean. I'm hoping that this video was useful to you. If you are interested in this kind of thing, let me know. I will go ahead and do a little thread like this, or a little thread. I've been on forums too much. I'll make a little video like this for anyone who's interested in kind of learning how to find this stuff when you're out and about, because, I mean, we'll weigh this up, and I'll put it in the description how much this weighs, but it's not insignificant, a piece like this, in terms of having, $5 investment in all of this, and then to come out with 10 karat gold. It's a great thing. And it's something that I've come up with in, I think, 5 different states now. When I've gone to garage sales, I've found gold that was just overlooked. So I'll talk about how to find it, and I hope you are having a wonderful day.